like this futuristic question: if in few years, instead of hiring another person to your team, you will be offered with AI developer who doesn't have any feelings, makes less mistake, but at the same time doesn't bring this team spirit to the team. So what will be your, pros and cons of accepting this type of help in the team?
I'm hopeful that the tools that we use will be better equipped to deal with learning curves. I think they'll be better at helping us change. One thing that AI lacks is a bit of personality. It lacks real world experience. And, maybe right now I can't sit in a meeting and listen to what 12 different people are saying or thinking, but haven't said until after the meeting. And I think that real world situations mean that AI, certainly within the next, perhaps 5 years or so, will be in that co-pilot seat rather than the pilot seat. And I think that it will be very interesting to see, how the technology will enable us to do things like refactoring, as I mentioned. That's fixing the sins of the past, making things better, as opposed to starting from scratch and saying, here's a whole new suite of software that I developed in 30 seconds. I think it's still a little far away to say that the programmer will be the computer itself. I've been around long enough to have gone through, 4GLs and these massive no-code platforms that everybody says are fabulous and you don't need to do anything. They've always had foibles. They've always had something that was not quite right, that required manual intervention, that required a human to say, it generated this, but that's what I wanted, and go in and change that code. Whether it's no-code, low-code, 4GL, or even AI, there's always a foible. Even a nice piece of code that ChatGPT can throw out in Python or C++, it'll still require a little bit of changing and insertion into existing code bases and into existing frameworks. When we get to the stage where the AI is so good that it's able to take this instructions, perhaps in a structured manner, to be able to develop entire systems or to be able to completely refactor existing millions of lines of C code or whatever, that will be great. But ultimately, who's going to test it? Humans are. And I certainly wouldn't be very comfortable about taking an AI-generated system and putting it into production and hoping for the best. So I think that when we start doing things like testing, and we'll find, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. So it's going to be an iterative process. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen at the speed that some people are predicting. I could be wrong. In fact, I probably will be looking back at this in 5 years' time saying, what was I thinking? But right now, I think that it's exciting. It's very useful as a co-pilot, but I wouldn't want it to fly the plane just yet.
I totally agree with you. The person with the tool, like you mentioned, should make sure that the tool doesn't replace the human completely, and it's probably will be hard to do because like this ceiling of knowledge which LLMs are used to learn, it's created by humans. So we will need to remain active and smart and contribute to kind of like move up the ceiling so that LLMs can also become smarter, but never overcome the human